Hello and welcome to Top 4 FPL, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another season of Premier Fantasy League. And I hope you're with
But we
us.
forgot to do our dance.
We forgot to do our dance. Excellent. So let's do it now. Hold tight. Welcome to Top 4 FPL, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another season of Fantasy League. And I hope you're going to join us. Excellent. And here we have Rob in the corner representing Arsenal. We have Oscar Bunny representing West Ham. We have Rock and Roll CEO representing Liverpool. And me, myself, I'm also supporting West Ham, but I'll be fine with Arsenal too because I'm a local, guys. Over to you, Rock and Roll CEO.
What's happening, everybody? Long time no see. If you've been watching our recordings before, the last episode we recorded was just before the World Cup back in, when was it? 1966? I can't remember. 2000. Just about the programme. What we're going to do this week is talk about the season ahead, our predictions, what we're thinking, and then obviously review our teams, review some of your team. Well, we can't review your teams, can we? Because they're not live until... Yeah, we'll review those sometime in the season, but we'll have a look at our teams, and then some predictions, and then general, as you've been watching Top 4 FPL before, you know exactly where this could head. Anything can happen. So, yeah, maybe we take it away. What are your thoughts for the season ahead, Rob? Arsenal, 2 seasons in a row, almost made it. Do you think you're going to be a third time?
I think we're going to come up short again. I think brilliant season last year. I think we were, you won't find an Arsenal fan that was disappointed with last season. Lots of people would say, we didn't win it again. But, inside the camp, we're all really, really happy. I just don't think we've got enough this season to beat Man City.
So this year, West Ham will give everyone a run for their money.
Cool. Yeah.
We're going to finish in the top 4. I have confidence. I'm sorry to say, I think Liverpool might be a letdown this year.
Ooh.
Well, I think that's a nice segue into what Liverpool may or may not do. We're playing Arsenal apparently tonight at Lincoln Park. Rob was mentioning earlier on in California. I don't know what to think. I don't know what any other Liverpool supporters are thinking, but feel free to drop your comments in the subscribe box below while you're hitting the like button and notification bell. But yeah, I don't know. I never really predict things about Liverpool. I'm not as fanatical as I used to be many years ago. As you can see, my shirt is from many seasons ago. I'm updating my kit since.
Who have you got on the back? Sturridge.
I've actually got the man.
Yes.
I think Liverpool could be the surprise package of the season. I know that sounds strange when you talk about Liverpool, but not for me. But just
they're title contenders every season, really, and Arsenal
on paper. But looking at the team, people would probably. I mean, Salah's had his haircut. That could have an impact on the game. I think if one of the things that's going through the rumour mill is if Liverpool can sign Anthony Gordon from Newcastle, I think that takes it up a little bit, takes it up a notch. That would be a superb signing. Obviously, in my opinion, he's an excellent player, but he's also a Liverpool supporter. I know he used to play for Everton, but he's a Liverpool supporter. So that could change things, make it interesting. We'll see.
It's perfectly in that attacking Liverpool mould of that front three.
So definitely.
Ready-made. But you've got a few younger strikers in there as well, haven't you? You've got like Harvey Elliott.
He's really good.
Yeah, so
he'll probably go on a loan spell somewhere like Sunderland and come back.
But just as far as Liverpool goes, and for every other team, basically, it's relative to all the other teams. So looking at what's happening, you mentioned Manchester City. I think De Bruyne is staying. He's not going to Saudi Arabia. So that'll be important for them. But whether they can win it for a 5th season in a row, they obviously can. But I don't know. What about Spurs, Rob? What are you saying about Spurs?
Spurs?
I'm quite proud to say
I've got Arsenal, West Ham, and West Ham. Who am I going to ask?
This year will be Brennan Johnson's year.
Bunny's a very ardent supporter of Brennan Johnson. So it's always going to be Brennan Johnson's year. But yeah.
You talk about Chelsea now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say something about Chelsea. Okay. If they're going after someone, I don't know if you look at the transfer news with Chelsea recently. Chelsea and Arsenal are battling for one player. one specific player. But if Chelsea get hold of this guy with Palmer on their team, they will be a lethal team. Julian Alvarez from Manchester City. They're Chelsea and Arsenal are battling for him right now, and Atletico Madrid.
And
All
West
three of
Ham.
these teams, not West Ham.
Come on. I don't know if anyone's talking about it yet or if it's even a thing. If it isn't, it should be a thing. It should be.
So look, so Arsenal are going to get rid of Eddie Nketiah this year, guaranteed. We're going to lose Emil Smith-Rowe as well, by the looks of it. So
Yeah,
there's
he's
going to be
gone.
some sort of attacking hole that needs to be fixed. I was very surprised by Kai Havertz last season, how he actually came into the team, and now, you know, he's not an out-and-out striker at all, but
No.
he's not even really, you know, a 10. You know, he's not a 9. He kind of floats around a bit. You know, what I would like to see is, like, could we go for a plan B? Right? Could we go for an Olivier Giroud type of player?
Yeah, that's the kind of player
I
you
think-
need. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ivan Toney's been mentioned. Like, is there a different way for
Ooh,
Arsenal to win
good player,
games?
Ivan Toney.
And I haven't seen that yet, because every time we try and bring people off the bench, we play the same sort of way, and it doesn't really make much difference. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think Arsenal will win it this year, because we haven't found that plan B of how to win games.
Okay,
They've got
so
too
we've
much-
talked
too much
about
money.
Arsenal, we've talked about West Ham, we've talked about Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. Who haven't we talked? We haven't talked about Man United yet.
Yeah.
I think Man United are at the stage where they're just a developing team at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. They're going
But
through a
no
big
one's
rebuild.
none of-
So
Yeah, so we've talked about the top six. Now, we do have 3 new entries into the Premier League this season, which are Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich. So we won't go over the teams yet because we haven't studied them so much. We'll get back to talking about the new teams in the next episode of Top 4 FPL. But for now, we will introduce our own teams. So let's start with you, Rock and Roll. If you'd like to share your team with everybody watching. Oh, Glory of Alpenson. That reminds me of a song, Glory of Love by Peter Sotiris, one of my favorite ones. Excellent. Glory of Alpenson. Brilliant.
So, as we said before, there's obviously a number of changes that are probably made before the season starts because nobody made any transfers. But my team may not change too much, to be honest. I've used what I've seen during the Euros that just ended, and as the basis for some of my team selections. I think Watkins could get off to a flying start based on what he did there. I mean, he's been fairly decent for. I think he was a top scorer last season, wasn't he? I'm not sure. We need to check that.
He was up there.
Yeah, and
Definitely
then Bunny
up there.
obviously said Gakpo carried the Netherlands in the Euros, and I think he'll have a much better season than he has had for the past few seasons at Liverpool. I've
That's
put
if they
in
let him
Gordon
play.
there. I won't change Gordon if he doesn't, even if he doesn't join Liverpool, because I think he's could have another fantastic season for Newcastle. And Trossard, I've cannibalised my midfield. I know this is something we spoke about before. I've got Saka and Trossard. I think they'll both have tremendous seasons. I think Trossard will be a starter over Martinelli. I don't know, Rob, if you have anything to say about that. But I think Trossard will start more over Martinelli this season than he has in the past.
I'm not going to give you any hints, am I?
Yeah. And then Cole Palmer, what else can be said? Absolute cool, one of the coolest players in the league. I know he plays for
Everyone's
Chelsea,
gonna
but
have him. Everyone.
and they should, because he's an absolutely superb player. He's just one of those players who's just already world class. I think he's in
10.5 million.
I'm not a Chelsea
Yeah.
fan, but Palmer, you are awesome. Come to West
a bit
Ham.
rich.
We think you're brilliant. Come to West Ham, mate.
in defence. I've got
Yeah.
basically. I think Van der Ven for Spurs. He stood out immediately when I was watching him last season. Very good defender. Gets
He
up,
is a good
gets up
player.
there, and if Liverpool could, I don't know if it's a thing, but that's one of the first players I'd sign for Liverpool if there was a chance of strengthening the squad. And then Saliba again for Arsenal, fantastic player. And yeah, Branthwaite at Everton. I think Everton will have can't have a much worse season. Technically, they could, and it would be funny if they did from my perspective. But Branthwaite, I think he's a player that's obviously a defender that can score goals, so that's why I picked him. If Slot, we'll see if he moves like Van Duzel mentioned. Trent has a more midfield kind of role. Bradley will start more on that right wing back position, and Yeah, and then in goal we've got Becker, and then Bazunu. I don't even know who he plays for. I think he plays for Southampton. Yeah, he's a Southampton keeper.
Okay, that's
So
interesting. 4 million. No, it's
yeah,
4.5. Okay, that's interesting.
yeah. So that's the team for the season. I've spent all my money, not wasted any of it at the moment. And again, it could change. I doubt I'll touch it before the beginning of the season, but unless there's injuries, obviously. But
Right, okay.
yeah, that's the team for now. Okay, just
Yeah.
a final word on the Souček and some of those selections. Obviously, when you're selecting players that are like 10 million, 10.5 million,
Yeah.
once you've selected these players, you don't have much budget left at the end. So he was one
That's
of my
right.
last picks. He was like, "Oh, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you." And yeah, go on then. I might as well
Yeah,
pick you.
I got.
So-
As soon as I saw your team, I got that. Souček normally is a filler. No one picks Souček because that's the player they actually want. He ends up becoming kind of a gap filler because you only have just about enough money. So I got
yeah.
that as soon as I saw it. Yeah.
Souček is a
But I
surprise.
think Concer's a bargain as well. So
Concer's always at 4.5 million. Concer is an absolute bargain.
yeah, Rob, do you want to bring up your selector?
Yeah. Go on then. Let's see who we got.
Tim Busquets.
Yeah.
Tim Busquets.
All right, guys.
Busquets.
If you've
we go.
watched our previous episodes a couple of seasons ago, we actually touched on the subject of your team name. It is important that you have a team name, and normally what managers do,
Team name.
they do a word play on football player names. So Rob has used Sergio Busquets from Barcelona, and he's called it Tim Busquets, and we believe that that will have an impact on your team score. I truly believe
Absolutely.
that. So that's a dangerous
it's not-
team name.
It's also not just the name. I actually do it in real life. There's my biscuits.
You know how to live. You know
So
how
yeah,
to live.
let's go through this team. So
Come on, guys.
I've gone for Leno in goal. I actually rated him as a decent goalkeeper at Arsenal. He was a really good, dominated his box. Was a great shot stopper. The type of football that Arsenal now play out from the back means we need a different keeper. But in a different team, a slightly lower league team lower position team like Fulham, Leno's awesome. So yeah, putting him in goal. I may switch him out later, but for the time being, that's where I'm going.
Right, okay.
Defense, I had to look at who was really, really strong last season at not conceding goals. Arsenal were fantastic to watch at the back. Man City were up there as well. And you also want to have a little bit of the people who may get on the end of a cross or may do something in the attacking area as well. So Gabriel, for me, he's an absolute pest. When the balls come into the box, he's always leaping over people, getting in there. Fantastic. He should score probably 3 to 5 goals this season, I expect. And should pick up a lot of points from clean sheets and hopefully the odd bonus point as well. Saliba, probably the best chant in the Premier League. Don't know if you know it, but to the sound of tequila.
Bubbles in the air. They fly so high into the sky.
So look, the Arsenal defense has been really, really good, and Saliba needs no instruction. He's an absolute baller. He's an absolute Rolls Royce. Whoever, Maldini, Baresi, Van Dijk, whoever you want to say he's the new one, he's the new one. So he'll pick up random bonus points here because he's the cool guy at the moment.
He is.
Trent, obviously, he's going to pop up with some goals. He's in a funny position as a defender. He's probably not going to really play in defence, but he'll get you the additional clean sheet bonus and hopefully some attacking points as well. And then your Man City defenders, Ruben Diaz and Stones, pretty solid guys. Not going to really score, but may get some bonus points or some clean sheets in there. So
Rob's midfield. Rob's got quite a strong midfield, and he's got a very influential West Ham player.
He has.
So
He has indeed.
Yeah,
I've
okay,
noticed.
well, let's jump straight into the West Ham players. So I'm a big fan of Bowen, and Ward-Prowse. I'm, not he's someone that I kind of topped up with, but I was actually surprised at his, his goals and his attacking threat. I thought he may have actually been a striker, but to have him as a midfielder as well, I thought maybe I'll have these as good attacking options for certain games. So yeah,
100.
and brilliant. So yeah, we talked about Gordon a bit before. You know, I think he's going to have a really good season this season. I think
Definitely.
He's going to be assisting. I was thinking about putting Isak up front as well. Didn't go for that, but I needed to have someone in that Newcastle team because they should be playing attacking football. Obviously, I'm not too concerned about them from a defensive point of view, but I think if they're playing attacking football, they're going to be creating chances and scoring. McGinn is a bit of a funny one. Like, I don't really know how many points he gets, but I've seen him when he played against Arsenal, and a few times I've seen him. He is such a good technical player.
He's a really
and
good player.
Very good player.
Kind of
Very
goes
good
under the
player.
radar a bit,
Yeah,
but he really kind of gets that team working. I
class
just
act.
think for 5.5 million, you know, if he
Can't go
starts
wrong.
adding a few more goals and stuff to his game, actually maybe and assuming Aston Villa do well, you know, they were top 4, top 5 last season. So, you know,
Well,
they may have another
if we
season
were in
like
the
that.
park having a match and John McGinn was there, he's the kind of guy I'd pick first.
He's
I'd say I want John.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then Saka, I mean, yeah, is Saka. It's a striker who's
Sorry, I don't really rate him that much, to be honest. I just don't.
Yeah.
No, Saka is the type of player, he's on fire all the time. There's not a time where the guy's not on fire.
Struggles to
You
release
don't
the
like
ball.
football.
No,
He
when
needs
somebody-
people to
when-
release the ball within 3 seconds
Can I
every
speak?
time. Me too, normally. Yeah.
1 minute.
Someone in the chat
Yeah.
put in who were the top goal assists last season. I'm pretty sure Saka was up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He contributes so much to the Arsenal team,
Yeah.
to the England team, whatever he does. There are moments where he fades out of games for sure, and there are moments where he's a bit more selfish. But actually, you know, the kid's young. He's 21,
Yes.
22.
The thing with
Each to their
Saka
own.
is
Yeah.
the thing about Saka, unlike Salah, who is exactly what Bunny just said, Saka knows when to release the ball and knows when not to. More often than not, he'll more often than not, most of the time, make that right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to round this off then, so my strike force, I've gone with pretty much the players that did it last season that will do it again, and Gakpo because of the Euros. I think he proved to me in the Euros that actually he can be an attacking threat. Maybe Liverpool will trust him a bit more this season, and he'll get a bit more game time. Watkins, you know, he's going to start every game, and he should be up there as the top scorer. One of Solanke, similar for Bournemouth, but yeah, he'll put in some goals. And yeah, Gakpo, maybe he's in with a shout as well. So not the all-star, you know, Haaland, Globetrotters, but this will be and actually Arsenal played Bournemouth a few days ago in a warm-up game.
Yes.
And again, Solanke looks pretty good, you know, ready to kick on. So, you know,
Very good choice, I would say,
too.
Solanke, definitely.
Yeah.
I was gonna just round it off and go, actually my goalkeeper on the bench is a little bit of a novelty pick. So this guy, having picked up 2 Champions Leagues, one with Liverpool and one with Man City, probably won't actually even get a game this season. But Scott Carson, an absolutely incredible record of trophies, and probably hasn't played any minutes in the Premier League for years. But fair play to him.
Well, he may not get any game time, but one thing he is bringing you, Rob, is money in the bank. So
exactly,
yeah, 4 million, you have more money to spend. So well done, good choice. Good team. So we're watching out for T and Busquets this season. Let's see how we'll do in the league with that one. Okay, Oscar Bunny, shall we move on to you and your team?
Yeah, go on in. Can you see it?
And what's your team called?
It is called West Ham.
Oh, it's called Oz West Ham. Okay, that's very creative.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, as you see, I've got Raya and Flecken in goal. I've got Senesi. Now, Senesi, in the second half of the season last year, he made a name. He was very good. He was scoring goals as a defender. So I've got him. Dunk is a very random guy.
Which football league were you watching?
The one, anyway. But Guardiola, he came to Manchester City afterwards, but he was doing really, really well. So Shaw and Kilman. West Ham's bought Kilman.
Oh, yes.
So I have bought Kilman.
Come on, West Ham.
I think he's going to be a wild card for me. And
What a
I noticed
player.
none of you have got him. Mbumo.
Oh, Bumo, well, last season he was
he was on
really
fire,
making an
but then he
impact.
got injured. But now he's back again. So hopefully he's gonna go mad.
Yeah, shout to the
Then
Brentford.
then we've got Palmer, which we've all got Palmer by the looks of it, and Gordon. We've all got Gordon, and we've spoken about them. There's no point
Did
in
Rob
going
have
over them
Palmer?
again. I think.
No, I was
Rob
too
didn't have
expensive,
Palmer.
mate.
Okay. So Palmer obviously is going to shine like
Like a
Mustafa has
diamond.
said as well. And
He
also
was shining like a
I got
star.
Bowen. None of you have got him. I think Joe, I haven't seen your team yet. Kudus.
Yeah.
That's one guy who's
Kudus.
going to be overlooked. Straight.
Last year he came halfway through the season. So that's why you can't see his points so high. If he came at the beginning of the season last year, he would have been in the top 3-4 midfielders.
He was very
This-
prolific. I was so
This
surprised with him.
this
How
year
much?
he
6.5 million.
he will shine. And I think is going to be the massive difference for Arsenal. Now, when it comes to, for West Ham, so when we play when I got the people up front, now it's not much different to what you guys have got. However, I may change one of my players, and I was in two minds, but now I think I am gonna because everybody seems to have Solanke and Watkins and Isaac or whatever. I am going to change. I am going to change Solanke, okay, and buy Mateta. Mateta was the one towards the end of the season last year. He had 2 free goals almost every single game. So I will be changing Solanke for Mateta. That will be my one person that changes. Because everyone's got Solanke. We need different teams. So I'm going to change that. So that is my team. That was short and sweet. And I kept that really. But I think my difference in my team is going to be Kudus,
Yeah.
Kilman, and Bumo, and Senesi. These 3 players are going to make a difference for me. I think they're going to be my differences. Taking over you guys.
I also think you've paid 4.5 for Lewis Dunk, which is an absolute bargain. Guys, since I've been playing Fantasy League, since Lewis Dunk has been in the Fantasy League, I could honestly tell you he scored every season that he has been in the Premier League. So Lewis Dunk is actually a bargain at 4.5. He's the kind of defender, if you don't know, and if you don't already watch Premier League, he's the kind of defender that's in the box and taller and stronger than everybody else. So...
And one player I may change as well is probably because he's playing West Ham is Watkins. Because that means I have to leave Kilman on the bench because he's gonna bloody score. But yeah, I'll probably keep Watkins. Actually, he's a great player. I think there'll be plenty of goals in that game. West Ham versus Aston Villa.
Yeah, Villa normally beat West Ham when they go to
but
the
I
stadium.
think this time it'll be a bit different. I think it'll be like 3-2 or 3-3 or 4-3 West Ham. I am buzzing.
Wicked. Am I going?
Yeah. I don't know if there's any free tickets. We can maybe arrange you to come as well.
Well, you're the ticket holder, season ticket holder.
Well, my ticket's just for one person.
The only thing I'll say about Bunny's team is obviously it's very West Ham and Kudus is. I might even copy your Kudus there.
Yeah, I might copy him.
I don't know. I may
copy him too.
Everyone's gonna copy my Kudus. Give it a few games.
We'll see. The only reason I'm kind of questioning it is Lopetegui, the new manager. He hasn't got a very good history. He doesn't have a good history. He hasn't stayed very long in any of his previous managerial roles. I remember when I'm not checking this, I'm just from memory. If it's the same Lopetegui, he was a Spain manager for like less than an hour or so. I don't know. He wasn't Spain manager for very long. I think he was at Real Madrid for a season, if that. So he doesn't have that. I don't know. He's never built a team. And
Oscar Bunny, that was your team. That is, it's pretty decent. Like I said, I'm going to probably copy your Kudus, but we'll see.
Don't copy my Kudus.
Shall we show my team now? Do you want to see my team?
Sure do.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay.
We'll see what you call
first
it.
of all, I have to see my team before you see it. So let's have a look. Ooh.
It's coming. There you go.
Hey.
Okay, right. And this is, I'm laughing to my team. Because in goal, I have Petrovic. I don't know anything about him, except he played for Chelsea and his name is Petrovic. I don't know. I haven't got a clue why I've picked him. Oh, he's 4.5 million. That's probably why I've picked him. Yeah, and he plays for Chelsea. I don't know if he will play or he won't play because I'm sure Chelsea have got other keepers. But I do have Dubravka for Newcastle, who's also 4.5. So I've only spent 9 million on my two keepers. Dubravka is against Southampton in his first game.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he'll start. So that's why I picked Dubravka. Because I'm picking on Southampton. I'm figuring they'll probably lose badly against Newcastle. So I've gone for Dubravka. Petrovic, I'm not sure why he's there, but his name is Petrovic. And when your name's got Vic at the end of it, normally you do okay in football. So that's my reasoning. From the off, you can see I've got Alexander Arnold. Rob had Alexander Arnold, and I don't know if anyone else had him. I don't think they did. No.
Expensive, isn't he? But he's going to score some goals.
Yeah, so we've got Alexander Arnold, not for his clean sheet abilities, which he may have. We'll see. He'll get clean sheet.
Someday.
He'll get assists and he will score because he's playing in quite an elevated role moving forward. So I would say Alexander Arnold, even though he's 7 million, one of the most expensive defenders, I picked him. Pedro Porro is another one that gets forward and whips stuff into the box and may get on the score sheet.
Scores goals. Yeah.
When I'm going for defenders, guys, I'm going for defenders that you're likely to see on the score sheet. So any defender you can see on my team is likely to be on the score sheet. That's Pedro Porro, Alexander Arnold, Anderson, and Kilman. I haven't seen him at West Ham yet, but for Wolves, Kilman was the kind of guy that you on the score sheet now and again. And he's only 4.5. And Oscar
Is Kilman from Wolves? I thought Kilman was one of those players that was at the Euros that played for Italy or something. You're going mad over Kilman.
He is an international player, yeah. And Dan Burn, who's another, similar to Lewis Dunk, is another guy who's strong in the box when he gets in there for headers and things like and set pieces
old school.
and stuff.
Him and Dunk, classic Sunday League.
Classic.
Absolute fantastic. But
absolute bruisers. Yeah, they're likely to be on the score sheet. I'm not saying he's going to score hat-tricks or be on it every week, but they do play Southampton, Newcastle in the first week, so I'm kind of counting on that's going to bring me a good result. That I've got Dubravka and Burn in my back line here. So we move on to the midfield, and I pick Palmer like everybody else. This time I'm picking Palmer because last season I didn't, and that was my downfall. I was being very stubborn because I am a Capricorn and I'm stubborn. And I don't like to pick players that everybody's going to pick. So preemptively, I avoid players like Palmer. But this time, he's too good to avoid. And I'm going to pick him this time.
Yeah, come to West Ham.
Sorry. Wherever he goes, this guy, he's a good player. And he's so young and he's still got a big career ahead of him. So, yeah. I've got Foden, who I think is probably the best player in the Premier League. He's my favourite player in the Premier League is Philip Foden. Class act. I'm going to pick him. He's going to bring in points, whether that's from scoring or from assisting. He's going to bring points, so we know that. Salah, that's another one. Very consistent, probably the most consistent player throughout the years of the Premier League is Mo Salah. So this time I'm going for my key players in midfield, Foden, Salah and Palmer, and they will be in my team every week. They probably won't be rotated at all. I've gone for Mainu because I really loved his performance in the Euros. I thought in England, Kobe Mainu actually, he was a good addition, I thought, and he's a good player. He's only 5.5, so he's my gap filler.
So if you're picking players based on their Euros performance, how's Foden getting in there?
Oh, no. Mainu, yeah, not
good point.
Foden's not based on Euros performance.
Yeah.
Foden is based on just his usual performance in the Premier League. Yeah. Mainu is a gap filler. He's 5.5. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if he's not going to play. So I picked him because
he'll play 100%.
Yeah,
he's quality.
And he is a good player. So for 5.5, the caliber of player you have in Mainu for 5.5 is unbelievable, whether he plays or not. So I'm buying him for Jacob Murphy, very underestimated player, very cheap, and people are going to avoid this guy, but he will be on the score sheet, and I won't be surprised if he's on the score sheet in the first game as well.
So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for 5.5, we can't go wrong. We can't go wrong with that decision, especially against Southampton. So I am picking players based on who they are playing in the first games week 2. So we've got to recognise that.
Or you've
Alvarez.
just not picked some really expensive midfielders, and then you've just forgot who's the cheapest I can load in.
Oh yeah, the best. Basically, that's what I've done. That is my theory. Just pick the players you really want, who are going to score first. So you know you've got them. Pick the spine of your team first, the players you really want, and then with the money you got left over, pick who else you think is a good quality for that price.
right now, 55% of the players or the managers in the league have picked Watkins. So,
Yeah,
but the interesting thing is, just before you continue, is that we've got. Obviously, I don't pick Man City players, so that leaves me out. But out of the three managers here that do, none of us, nobody has picked Haaland. And it's interesting because
wow.
to the Haaland, I mean, he was top scorer last season, but when you look at his price this season at 15 million, and then the money you can save.
I don't think in Fantasy League Haaland was top scorer. I think Palmer outscored him.
No, in Fantasy League, I don't know. Let's have total points last season. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah, and Watkins outscored him. Palmer outscored him.
we need to
Foden
look at
even
all the
outscored
players.
him. Foden outscored him. Saka outscored him. He was outscored by many players.
Yeah, you're right.
So who do you think is going to be the top scorer in Fantasy Premier League this season out of the players that are already here?
I'm going to say
Out of your team, or
Out of all the players in Fantasy League, who's the number one player that you would recommend our viewers to buy in Fantasy League who is going to outscore every other player? Is it Watkins? Is it Palmer? Is it Foden? Is it Salah?
it's going to be Palmer.
It's going to be Palmer. Maybe so, yeah. Palmer.
I'm not going to say Palmer. I think there'll be more competition for striking options at Chelsea.
I think actually, can I take that back?
Go on then.
This year,
you're going to say Kudus.
no, I'm going to say Mateta.
Okay.
What?
Mateta, 100% going to be in the top. 100%.
He is a player I think is value for money, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, Rob.
And in 3-4 months' time, you will talk about this moment saying, Oscar Bunny said this.
So your tip is Mateta. That's from Oscar. But Oscar Bunny says Mateta. Rob?
I'm going to go for the star boy. I reckon Bukayo Saka is going to have a big year. I think he was brilliant a couple of years ago. He was very good last season. I think Saka this season.
Saka.
Well, you know that star boy is Kudus' nickname.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
Do you know whose nickname it was first?
Kudus' nickname is actually called Starboy. Everybody calls him Starboy.
So who's Starboy first?
Definitely Saka.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think based on everything, and obviously barring any injuries, Cole Palmer will be head and shoulders above anybody else.
Right.
Because I think Chelsea will do quite well this season, and they'll finish top 5 definitely. And I think, a lot will depend on how Palmer plays, and I think he's going to be, if he continues the way he did last season, I think he'll be above everybody else in that respect. So he's my tip.
Yeah,
Unless
for now,
Gordon
I
joins
would agree
Liverpool,
with you. And from what I've seen,
Cole Palmer.
Yeah, from what I've seen of Palmer, he's pretty much already proved himself in the big league, and he looks unstoppable. I can't not say Cole Palmer at the moment, literally.
Thanks to everybody who's joined the league so far. How many teams have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I really should have counted these. So currently we've got some familiar names back. Adam, welcome back, mate. Anfield of Dreams. His team has been called Anfield of Dreams for the last 20 years, and it's been holding a good steady because he always scores really, really highly. Ivan Arno, who was leading the league for a number of weeks in the previous season. Yeah, who's your mate Mark that you were saying joined? He's not here yet.
Shout out to Moose78, Army of Markness. So well done, Mark. He's in there again, Army of Markness.
Yeah.
JVS.
If you'd like to
Igor
join
Giovanni, he's always in there.
Yeah, just shout out to Sparky as well, who's obviously unable to join today, and shout out to his...
Yes, Sparky, come on, man. Yes. And Rajat North. Flumatic nut punch.
What? Yeah. The sillier the name, the more
Does that mean
chances
I
you've
got to
got
change?
of winning the league.
Guys,
Does that
if you
mean
make
I
a
got to
team
change my
name, you
name
gotta
now?
make a funny one like Flumatic nut punch.
All right, I'm changing my name next week, and that will be something that you guys will have to see.
Yeah.
Good names. Well, can we see the other names? Can we see the other names? Hold on. We've got Tim Buskets. That's Rob. We've got Dog Day. What's that? Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternooners.
Oh, not bad. Oh, Pacino. That's a good name. HMA.
Yeah.
JPFC Army of Markness. I think that's a good one. That's Mark.
That's a brilliant name, yeah.
Yeah, Not So Invincibles, Craig Chappell. And that's a popular team. They always do quite well. IAS90 does well every season. Fantasy Fuchs does pretty well. So these managers are really good managers. If you are going to join our league, guys, you got to know that some of our managers are pretty high scoring, like up there in the top tier of fantasy managers. So it won't be easy, guys.
All right, so I want to say something. So these people that are watching this right now,
Yeah.
how do they join this league?
You go to Fantasy
Well,
League and it says enter your league code, enter this league code.
And if there's anything, it's that we don't script the show at all. So we hope you enjoyed it, and
Yeah,
join us
so
again
we're
on the
back.
next one.
Yeah, see you soon.
Guys, thank you for joining Top 4 FPL. We're going to wrap this up now. Thank you to Rob. Thank you to Oscar Bunny. Thank you to Rock and Roll CEO. And thank you to me. Goodbye.
See you next week.
Take care.